Alright, horn line. So I'm going to be showing you how to wash your horns today. So I've got silver polish here. I use Wright's silver polish. Pretty much any silver polish would work. These are always at Walmart, so if you run out on tour, you can grab those. I have an old toothbrush here to get inside the valve slides and all that fun stuff. If you've got a brush for that, that's much better. This is just what I have on hand. I got some extra paper towels yonder. Um, Big bath towel to lay out all the pieces on. Horn towel, an old one, and then a smaller polishing kind of cloth. Um, Over here, I just have a bath of warm water to rinse any slides or anything that might need extra help. I got lovely blue juice valve oil and a Yamaha synthetic valve oil. Um, I'm pretty sure, yeah, so this one's a synthetic, and then this one's an actual oil. So you don't want to mix the two together when you're putting them back on your slides. And this one, I've just got some slide cream here for stuff like the main tuning slide, that kind of stuff. Alright, so first part is disassembling your horn. You just want to, I usually start with the valve casings. You just want to keep everything pretty organized as you're going. So I like to keep them in order. First valve comes out, just put it down on the tablecloth or on the towel. 1, 2, 3 in order. And then with the bottom cap, keep those in the same order as well. My first valve cap is stuck, so you can put like a little bit of oil, valve oil in there that sometimes frees it up, or you can get a grippy thing to try and help you pull it off. Try not to use pliers because that tends to strip the metal. It makes it a little more difficult for anyone else to get it off. So you can just lay them out like this, like so. There's 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so now that I've got my horn disassembled, I've got the pistons out, and I've got all the slides, tuning slide, and all the trigger slides out. Now I'm just going to take the toothbrush and the hot water. I'm going to drop all of these in there. Alright, so I've got the toothbrush slides are in the water. Just take the toothbrush, kind of reach in as far as you can with that. Just trying to clean out whatever comes out of there. And just rinse off your toothbrush every once in a while, or cleaning rod, or whatever you have. And then also try and just brush off the outside of the brass. We'll get the actual polished part, the silver nickel part, later with the polish. And then you can just shake out the water, set it over to dry, and repeat with all the other. Alright, so now I've got all of my valves, or all of my slides cleared. I need to do my valves now. So the important part with the valves is that you don't get this this felt wet, because then it wears it out basically, and it just ends up being clicky. So one good way to do this is to either get a mug and just drop them all in there and let them soak a little bit in some soapy water, just being careful that the felt doesn't get wet. Or you can just, like I'm doing, dip it in the water here and just give it a nice scrub. Alright, so now I'm going to basically just do the same thing for the slides, but for all of the other openings in the horn. So wet it, and just scrub as much as you can. Alright, so my horn is now clean on the inside, so we're going to do the outside now. That's where I have this older towel. Just going to wipe down the outside especially if you're coming in from like a rehearsal day or something. You don't want to polish your dirt on the horn, so you just want to wipe the dirt as best you can off of the horn. Try and go along all of the sides. And just get every surface, including the inside here. Inside the bell is usually one of the worst spots for dirt accumulation. Alright, so now that it's dust free, I just have my silver polish here. I have the sponge with a little bit of the polish, and just rub it into the surface of the horn like this. You don't need a ton of it, you just need enough to coat, essentially. Alright, so my horn is now polished, including the bell. Just you want to reach in as far as you can, work your way from the inside out so that you're not taking polish off as you go through, and really try and do your best to get in all of the nooks and crannies, especially on the valve casings here. So for taking this polish off, there are two schools of thought. The first is to do dry polish. The horn polish will dry if you leave it. So if it's during ESL, you go take your shower or do your tour job or something like that, you come back, you just wipe the polish off the horn. That's where the polishing cloth comes in. Or you can take your horn in the shower with you and just rinse it off really well, making sure that one, the valves aren't in so you don't have the felts getting wet, and two, that the horn gets emptied of all the water that gets stuck in it once you take it in the shower. Okay, so I've got my polished horn in the bathtub now, and I'm just gonna dump some water here. I'm just gonna rinse off the horn. Alright, so since I did a wet polish, I've got my polishing rag still that's nice and dry. I can use it to dry out the inside of my horn. This is a really important step, so please don't skip it, because I made this mistake one time and I got this really great action shot and my bell just had water stains all over the inside of it. So don't be me. So now I've got my horn washed, polished, and dried now, so I can start reassembling. So the first thing I'm going to do is screw the valve caps back in on the bottom, and then I'm going to start with the pistons. So the pistons are just going to get valve oil like you usually do when you get a sticky piston or something. You don't need a ton of it, just enough to coat the piston nicely and lubricate the sides. Some people like to just put a little bit of valve oil inside the casing as well. I'm not one of those people, but you do you. I don't care as long as your horn works. So then once you've got the valves in, you've got to do the slides. So I like to use valve oil on my slides because they're very sticky normally, and I want them to be able to slide if I need to. So I'll use valve oil on my valve slides, but when I get to the tuning slide, I like to use a little bit of slide cream so that it doesn't move as easily. So we're just going to take a little bit on your finger there and just rub it into the slide, because you don't want it to just, change your tuning tendency in the middle of the show. So this is nice and evenly coated. I'm just going to wipe my finger off on the towel, and then we're just going to gently put that right back in. And it slides right in. And then you can give that a few back and forths to help get the slide cream blended in on both sides of your slide.